here is T.C. Taylor, the former Jackson State All-SWAC standout, who's back at his alma mater and living his dream with his dream job and trying to get his team to clinch a SWAC championship birth today.
And got that extension this year. Way to go, TC.
Now on the other side, speaking of alma maters, Eddie Robinson Jr. coaching here at his alma mater in his third season, a former Tennessee Oiler, later Tennessee Titans player who played in the Super Bowl. Of course, we know he is SWAC, and the last time he faced Jackson State in this stadium, that phrase was created.
It was coined. He ain't SWAC. I'm SWAC. Who is SWAC? Eddie Robinson is SWAC. Do not question his SWACability.
Absolutely. So, we've got a great matchup coming up between the Tigers and the Hornets. Remember, the Hornets went to Jackson State last year and beat them for homecoming. So we asked T.C. Taylor about that. He said clearly they don't do bulletin board materials, but hard to say that they weren't looking at this game for this upcoming year.
They want some get back. Do not let any of that coach speak fool you. They remember last year very well losing their homecoming to Alabama State. This was a game circled on the calendar.
Absolutely. Here's the kickoff, and it is a short kick that is caught by Alabama State. Maybe about another second or two. Jackson State might have actually got to that ball. And, hey, look, as we see, things are already starting to get heated here on a beautiful fall afternoon in Montgomery.
When Jackson State plays Alabama State, it's going to be chippy. Do you remember back kind of the post-COVID era, that spring era, when Deion Sanders was here and Jackson State lost that game, and we had Deion Sanders on the board, and he ain't SWAC. Look, there's always fireworks with Alabama State and Jackson State. But, Mo, look at this.
Absolutely. There's Kareem Key. Of course, he is coming to his own, almost 1,000 yards on the season, and he has literally come into becoming a great leader for the Alabama State offense. But today, this is his most important game today as a QB here for the Alabama State Hornets.
Recruited as a wide receiver. Coach Robinson said, you know what? He can play quarterback. I might just need one more. A very, very important recruiting decision made by Eddie Robinson.
All right, and Kareem Key will hand it off to his running back, and going on the right side will be A.J. Gates Jr. Let's take a look at your keys to the game, Tolly, and brought to you by GM.
Hey, Jackson State, their mission is don't fall for the eye candy. Over half of the Alabama State formations have some motion, some movement, trying to catch that defense off balance. If you fool the eyes, you fool the feet. And for Alabama State, they want to swarm to the ball when Jackson State is running. Irv Mulligan can make you miss, but if there are three people in his zip code, that second and third defender can make the tackle.
Here's Kareem Key once again in the shotgun. The handoff goes once again to Gates, and he is stopped once again by that Jackson State defense. Third down and short coming up as Robert McDaniel comes up with the tackle.
Hey, Jackson State sitting pretty good because on that first down run, if it wasn't for the play of Day-Day Bright, he made that tackle. That could have been a breakaway touchdown. So a little bend, don't break here. Let's see what the Tigers can pull out.
When you look at the SWAC defensive standings, Alabama State or Jackson State are usually 1, 2, or 3 in literally every category. It's crazy. It almost makes you wonder, will points even be scored today?
Oh, we're going to get some points, man. We're not going to go over. Not today.
All right. Here's Kareem Key handing it off to Gates, and Gates will pick up the first down. He's tackled by True Thompson on that one. Now let's take a look at today's impact players, which are brought to you by GM.
Well, on the offense of Jackson State, it's Irv Mulligan. This guy has 4 straight 100-plus rushing yards. On defense, Josh Nobles. He is the sack leader in the SWAC at 9. On offense for Alabama State, Kareem Key, we've been talking about him. And, hey, the second leading sack artist in the SWAC, Traquan Thomas for Alabama State. So looking to get after the quarterback on both sides for both teams today.
Those are your impact players, which are brought to you by GM. First down and 10 for Alabama State, moving from right to left on your television screen. They're going to keep it on the ground and going nowhere right there is Gates, and he is taken down by True Thompson. Here's another thing, Tolly. When it comes to defenses, I guarantee you no less than 7 players on both defenses I think this year will be all SWAC on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, for both teams. And you see right there, Jackson State beating Alabama State at the point of attack. Alabama State has been trying to rush the ball on the right side of that line, have had some marginal success early on, but Jackson State was there on that play.
Second down and 9 for Alabama State. 2 running backs in the backfield with Kareem Key, approaching the 12-minute mark here in the first quarter. Key in the shotgun, and they're going to keep it on the ground, and the handoff goes to number 26, and that is Marcus Harris the second. He's tackled by Robert McDaniel. Harris had the go-ahead touchdown, which turned out to be the victory touchdown down in the Port City Classic a few weeks ago.
And that time spun away from the first tackle, but those Jackson State defenders were showing their version of the swarm there, wrapping up on that little short game.
Second down and, third down coming up for Alabama State. Trips to the near side, single receiver to the far side.
Jackson State showing they might bring the pressure here. Let's see if they drop back.
So here's Key, steps back. He's got some time. He's running out of time. He's going to get away from some defenders. He's going to call his own number and get knocked out of bounds, but he will not pick up first down yardage. So Alabama State may be forced to punt.
So good job by Key there. That time the pocket collapsed. That pressure comes from the right side, actually comes up the middle as well. And you see there he goes backwards to go forward. Not enough to get the first down, but does not lose yardage, avoiding the sack there.
All right, so Alabama State will be forced to punt. Jackson State will get a chance to get the ball coming up. Gotta love these 2 o'clock kickoff. The shadow just, coming over the stadium.
Have no fear, Jackson State fans. That sun will leave the visitor side in a little bit.
Absolutely. Here on the return for Jackson State, this is Travis Terrell.
Oh, the fumble is loose.
There's a fumble on the play. Let's see who's got it. Jackson State is saying they're got it. Of course, they're on their own sideline. And when we talk about a scrum for the ball, this is literally what it is. And head official says Jackson State ball.
All right, so a good return obviously there by Jackson State, getting it over midfield, but Alabama State almost made up for it. You see right there, just holding the ball with one hand. Not great ball security, and I don't even think Alabama State was aware that the ball was on the ground. It was right there at the defender's feet.
Javion Posey coming out of that huddle with the ball for Jackson State. So the Tigers will start with the ball inside of Alabama State territory. Ball resting on the ASU 45-yard line in at quarterback Jacobian Morgan. And they're going to go to their power rushing attack, led by Irv Mulligan. Mulligan playing in this night game this season. Picks up good yardage on the play, second down coming up.
Yeah, Irv Mulligan coming off a game where every time he touched the ball, he was averaging 10 yards a carry on first down every time. But Alabama State doing a good job of swarming that time, second and third defender there to bring Mulligan down.
Second down coming up for Jackson State, and Jacobian Morgan is going to step up in the pack, call his own number, and then slide. There's a additional collision right next to him, but he picks up good yardage. It looks like there's going to be moving the chains. That's going to be a first down.
Yeah, they mark you down where you begin the slide, not where you end up, but he did begin that slide right at the first down marker, so they're going to give it to him there.
There's a look at Jacobian Morgan, over 1,600 passing yards, 15 touchdowns through the air, and only 5 interceptions. 64% completion percentage, not bad. All right, on the speed sweep right here, they get into the hands of Isaiah Spencer, and Spencer will pick up about 6 yards on the play, bringing up second down. He's tackled by Keen Lewis.
Jackson State doing a good job of running the ball. The Alabama State defense gave up a lot of run yards to Grambling last week. They've been going in the wrong direction. As we see here, Jackson State picking up another 4, and it's just chunk, chunk, chunk. But Jackson State is moving the ball down the field.
Irv Mulligan with that carry right there. One thing we talked about the Alabama State coaches is that this week they were working on tackling because they gave up too many missed tackles last week against Grambling State.
Yeah, and you take a running back like Irv Mulligan. It's not so much that he's a guy that can, shake you in a phone booth. He could just run through that first tackle, especially if you're trying to arm tackle, if you're trying to hit him high. He's going to run through those and then able to turn on the speed after that.
All right, we'll be right back with more swag action here on ESPN. Jackson State coming up inside of Alabama State territory, looking to score the first points of this contest. They've got a double twins look right now as Jacobian Morgan steps back in the shotgun, and we've got a whistle.
Well, a good start to Jackson State. Going to have a false start here against Jackson. Opening punt return across midfield, and they've eaten up about 25 yards of offense just through running the ball.
That was our first look at head official Charles Green today. Four wide receivers for Jackson State once again. And he's going to try to throw it in the flats and throws it away in a nutshell. Herb Mulligan, the closest receiver on that play.
Yeah, run a little play action there, and Mulligan just flashes out to the flats. He was open, but the pass was not on the money.
Coming up for Jackson State, 2nd down and 15 following that incomplete and also the penalty. Of course, Tigers, with a win today, can clinch the East Division crown. They're going to go to the rushing attack. Once again, it's Herb Mulligan, and going nowhere right there. He is tackled by big number 96, Jakeem Fletcher. 3rd down coming up.
Strong stand here by the defensive line. He's just going to meet Mulligan right there in the hole and bring him down.
Jakeem Fletcher hailing out of Tanner, Alabama, right outside of the Huntsville market. Got a chance to see that young man play for the Tanner Rattlers for a number of years with my regular 9 to 5.
Yeah, you do have a lot of jobs over here, Bo.
So here's Jackson State. They've got a trips tight set up at the top of the screen, and we got another penalty flag.
I still don't know how they let you back in Huntsville after you do all these Alabama State games.
5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, you know, the team that is the arch rival of the home team today, well, they appreciate the work that's done by my crew on a day-to-day basis.
You balance it out. I'll tell you what, Coach T.C. Taylor does not appreciate these false starts. That's 2 in the last 3 plays. These penalties have negated what was a solid start with the rushing attack for Jackson State.
Jackson State now pushed all the way back to the Alabama State 34-yard line. Will be 3rd and 20, and it looks like we've got a timeout on the field. All right, we'll take it with them. 7:45 to go. We'll be right back.
Says he does not like to hear his players whine and complain. Just get it done on the field, and very aggressive as a coach, and that translates to his team.
Jackson State will have trips on the near side on 3rd down, and we'll call it 20, and Morgan will throw it out in the flat. It is caught by Travis Terrell and taken down quickly by Alabama State's James Burgess. He was going nowhere on that one, Tyler. 4th down coming up.
Yeah, just trying to gain a little position here. It looks like, Mo, that Jackson State was thinking for a second about maybe 4-down territory, but pretty good kicking team. Field goals here, so just trying to gain some yardage here to get them in a better spot to maybe put 3 on the board.
So coming on for Jackson State on the field goal attempt will be number 38. That is Gerard Beza, a Kentucky State transfer.
Yeah, special teams player of the week out of the SWAC last week. And
the kick is up and no good. Sails wide left. So Alabama State's defense holds following the good punt return by Jackson State. And the Hornets will take over with pretty decent position, field position.
Yeah, and we told you at the beginning of the game, hey, if you like defense, stick around. And Jackson State did a good job early on in really just self-inflicted penalties there with those 2 false starts. Put them in that 3rd and 20 position.
All right, so Alabama State will come back onto the field for their 2nd offensive drive of the game, being led by Kareem Key. Of course, with a solid passing effort today, he has a chance to go over 1,000 yards.
Not bad for a man that, was listed as wide receiver. Had to go through the first 4 quarterbacks before he gets his start. And since he's been in there, 185 yards per game, over 60% completion rate. So getting the job done as a passing quarterback.
And here's Key. He's going to hand it off to the first man through. That's the big running back right there. That is Daquan Kinsey. Kinsey with a big stiff arm, and he is well into Jackson State territory. Knocked out of bounds by Robert McDaniel, but not before Kinsey picks up a huge gain to get Alabama State in Jackson State territory.
And you see the big hole there. Alabama State nearly had a breakaway run on the first play from scrimmage. They've run a few more plays on that side. Alabama State really sees that they have an advantage on the right side of that offensive line, and they've been going to it early and often here in the first quarter, paid big dividends right there on that run.
Alabama State has been doing well when it comes to 200-yard rushing games throughout the year. That was a gain of 41 on the play. Here we go again. Daquan Kinsey around the right side, putting on some shakes inside the 10-yard line. First down and goal, Alabama State. He's tackled by Robert McDaniel once again. These two guys are meeting each other quite often so far.
Keeping Jackson State off guard. They brought some players to the left side in that motion, made Jackson State think maybe they're going to run to that side, but they come right back to the right. And another big pickup for Alabama State.
22 yards on that gain by Daquan Kinsey. And Jackson State is going to take a timeout because clearly they don't know what Daquan Kinsey
Well, it's the holes that the line is making. They're taking advantage of their personnel. They're winning the battles on the right side of that line. And look, Mo, I think maybe those 58-year-old legs of Mike Tyson could have hit a couple of those holes right there that Alabama State is establishing. They're sealing the edge, setting the edge, and they just have Jackson State's number on that side of the line.
Absolutely, and they give big props to that offensive line of Alabama State for opening those holes because remember, just like Alabama State, Jackson State has one of the best defenses in the SWAC as well. These last couple of plays, Alabama State has really, really showed their strengths.
So Coach Quinn there, we talked to him earlier in the week. He was the one that told us, who gave us one of the keys to the game, that Jackson State defensive backs are going to have to watch that motion and not take their eyes away from what their assignments are, because if you confuse the eyes, you confuse the feet, and the body will follow. But right now, Alabama State is getting it done on the ground. Their feet are following the holes, and they're inside the red zone here.
So far on this drive, Alabama State 2 plays, 63 yards. Ball resting right now inside the 10-yard line. First and goal. Hornets trying to strike first on the scoreboard. And here's the pitch outside. It goes to A.J. Gates, and Gates doesn't get much on the play, bring up second down for Alabama State.
And even going to the weak side of the field, they still feel that's the stronger side because of the advantage they have there winning those matchups. But I would not be surprised if they, at some point here, come back to the strong side after keeping Jackson State off balance, going right, come back and hit them with the left.
I love that analogy. Definitely a love of that analogy. There's Kareem Key once again, the quarterback, former wide receiver who's coming to his own. And basically right now he's just got to manage this drive and get some points for the Hornets so they can take an early lead possibly.
Yeah, hasn't thrown any interceptions this year, keeping the ball out of harm's way. And again, another solid couple of yards there for Alabama State in the run game.
Right up the gut. That looks to be Daquan Kinsey once again. His first rush that's not of double digits. He's tackled on the play right there by Jeremiah Williams, big number 0. So we'll have second and goal coming up.
These skill positions have been by committee. We've talked the story about quarterbacks, but even the running back position. They have a bevy of players who can get in there and get it done. Really balanced run game attack personnel-wise throughout the season for Alabama State.
Correction on that. Third and goal coming up now for Kareem Key and this Alabama State offense. Under 5 minutes to go. Here's Kareem Key rolling out under pressure, and he is going to be sacked on that play right there by number 3, Robert McDaniel, coming through. And now Alabama State is going to have to set up for a field goal.
And Alabama State was looking to roll that pocket to the strong side of the field, but Jackson State on the penetration, you see there, right off the edge. And Key had nowhere to go.
No, he didn't. And also, too, Daquan Kinsey had a chance to do a kick-out block right there on McDaniel and really just missed him. Tried to chip him. Definitely did not work. So coming on for Alabama State will be Brandon Gilliam. A 25-yard field goal attempt coming up. Here's the kick. It is up, and it is good. And Brandon Gilliam gets Alabama State on the board first. Hornets lead 3-0. That's definitely a great sign for Gilliam, who missed the potential game-winning kick last week. We'll be right back.
Over the field now. And Hold on, Jackson. You see right there, Jackson State fans. Hold on. You'll get a little shade. But 72 degrees in Montgomery today. This is great football weather, Mo.
It really, really is. This is great fall football weather for sure. And the reason why I say that, only 2 weeks ago I was with the Alabama State Hornets in Mobile, and we had a kickoff temperature of 85 degrees in November.
Wow.
Right. So 72 feels way, way better. Not just for the people on the field, but also for the people in the broadcast booth, too.
Hey, man, you make your turkey outside. That type of weather in November.
Yes, sir. Back deep for Jackson State is number 0. That's Travis Terrell. And number 2, Janaylon Dupree.
But, Bo, I think with the top 2 defenses in the SWAC, I don't think this will be the last field goal we see here today. Touchdowns will come at a premium.
Absolutely. So hauling the kick right here for Jackson State is Travis Terrell. And Terrell picking up solid yardage, and he'll be knocked down right across the 30-yard line.
So we'll see what the Jackson State defense does. I think we saw 2 passing attempts from them in the first half, and both little short passes out to either flat. Had a lot of success running the ball. But Kobe and Morgan is a effective passer as well. So we'll see what the Tiger offense comes out this time on their second series.
19-yard return by Terrell on that kickoff. So, yes, we'll definitely see what Jackson State does on this drive. I know for sure T.C. Taylor told him something simple. Stop making mistakes.
Yeah, those false starts really killed that drive. Ended up in that long 3rd and 20 and ended up ultimately with the missed field goal.
All right, here's Morgan with trips tight, and eventually he's going to hand it off to Herb Mulligan, and Mulligan is stuck in the backfield by DeMarcus Cunningham. That'll be a tackle for a loss. Second down coming up for Jackson State.
Mulligan was mugged. Look at the point of attack. You talk about swarm. Those Alabama State defenders on the other side of the Jackson State offensive lineman.
Man, Cunningham coming through with the great tackle for Alabama State. Jackson State now second down, and we'll call it 11. Morgan in the shotgun, steps back, and he's going to throw it deep. And, he had a man, but they were not on the same page on that one. The intended wide. Morgan will be taking the ball right there. First appearance of the day being made by none other than Amon Scarborough. He takes Morgan down, and Jackson State will go 3 and out.
Yeah, that second level of the Alabama State defense was not full. They were right there as Morgan tried to roll through on the right side of that line. They were there to meet him, and Jackson State's going to have to punt this one away.
Back deep for the Alabama State Hornets is number 87. That is Robert McMinn. They call him Flash.
Well, we'll see how this ball hangs and see if Flash will get a chance. Nearly blocked right there. He's going to have an opportunity for a return here.
Here's McMinn at the 30-yard line. 35. And spins out of a tackle. He's at the 40. He's at the 45. And then slung down out of bounds. And there's going to be another flag on the play, definitely for unnecessary roughness, late hit out of bounds. So Alabama State will start this drive well into Jackson State territory.
That's Timon Wells, the defensive lineman. I think he would have been okay putting his hands on him as they were going out of bounds if he would have pulled up immediately after that. But it was the full 180 sling. Mo, I was here signaling for the flag even before the official threw it. That was very obvious. And right now, this has not been a very disciplined Jackson State team coming into this game. They're going to give Alabama State even better field position here. You know, Jackson State came into this game.
Late hit out of bounds. Number 50 on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic. First down.
So they're going to get Timon Wells on the late hit out of bounds as we take another look at it.
See right there, grab, then let go. It was the sling right there.
Correct. And also, you were on the Alabama State sideline. So it's not like you're not going to get that penalty.
Look, so we know you're 6'2", 285. We know you're not going to hit the brakes on a dime. I think, just grabbing him would have been okay, but it was the takedown.
Correct. 45-yard punt, 17-yard return at 15 yards with the penalty. And Alabama State will have the ball resting on the Jackson State 40-yard line. That's where Kareem Key and his Alabama State offense will start. They've got trips to the top side. And here's a handoff in the backfield, and going nowhere on that play is Gates. Gates is taken down by number 39, Philip Webb.
Well, this is a good response by this Jackson State defensive line, which gave up a lot of yards in the previous drive. And you see here the penetration, nowhere to go when they meet you in the backfield as soon as you get the ball.
Philip Webb from Sugar Hill, Georgia, and a transfer from LSU. That was a loss of 4 yards on the play.
6'5", 285 defensive lineman showing his speed and power on that play.
Second down, we'll call it 14 for Alabama State. Here's Kareem Key. Steps back to pass, and Kareem Key is intercepted on the play. That is Kaverick Wiggins. And Jackson State will have the ball near the midfield stripe.
And Wiggins saw that coming. He jumped the route. That's going to be the first interception on the year for Key. Telegraphed that pass a little bit. It made the defensive back's job really simple coming away with the interception. We're going to take another look at it. See here, he's just looking his receiver down the entire way.
Wiggins just jumps the route and picks it off. Makes it look easy peasy.
You're going to spend that much time looking at your receiver. It's a big waving flag saying, I'm throwing the ball right there.
So just as Alabama State had a little momentum right after that punt return and penalty, Jackson State takes it right back. They've got the ball resting right outside of the 50-yard line. Here come the Tigers. The handoff goes to Herb Mulligan, and Mulligan is going to keep turning his feet. Maybe gets about 2 yards on the play before he is pushed back by a swarm of Alabama State Hornets led by Tyler Swan.
And Alabama State continues to do what they need to do, and that is swarm the hole. When Mulligan looks up, he is immediately surrounded by 2 to 3 of those defenders of Alabama State, doing an effective job stopping the run here.
Second down, we'll call it 6 for Jackson State. Under a minute to go here in the first quarter. Alabama State on top, 3-0. Here's Morgan going to hand the ball off to Herb Mulligan, and Mulligan is going nowhere once again. And on a tackle for loss right there is Alabama State, big number 99 for Elijah Elmore from right there in Wetumpka, Alabama, right up the road.
Look, you see immediately into the backfield by the time Mulligan gets the ball. When you have a defensive lineman already sitting in your laps, doesn't matter how fast you are, how strong you are, you don't have any time to react. If Mulligan lost his helmet, he's going to have to sit out this play.
Third down and 10 for Jackson State.
Well, he didn't lose it. It just came off. He knows where it is.
And they did not get that play off, and the first quarter will end here in Montgomery. We'll be right back. Alabama State on top, 3-0. Top of Jackson State, 3-0 as we take a look at our game summary thus far. Alabama State, 68 rushing yards to Jackson State, 17. But I think the big thing right now that stands out, Tolly, are those penalty yards.
Yeah, and 2 of those and 20 of those yards came on that first possession for Jackson State. They were driving the ball pretty good. This could easily be a 7-3 ball game. Jackson State took themselves out of scoring position on that first series with those penalties. But so far, a very disciplined Alabama State team, an undisciplined Jackson State team. We saw that tackle out of bounds, unnecessary roughness, along with those 2 false starts. So something that I'm sure the Jackson State faithful would love to see the Tigers get buttoned up here in the second quarter, Mo.
I wonder how many times a week does Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. just use the word discipline towards his football team. As Jacobian Morgan steps back, and oh man, he's going to go deep. He's got a man behind it, and there's an interception by Alabama State. Coming up with the INT is Ethan Tooks.
Well, this is just the case of an underthrown ball. The receiver did his part. He was in front of the defensive back. We'll have to see what this flag is about. But Morgan just underthrew the ball. It's that simple.
Ethan Tooks from Jacksonville, Florida. As our head official, Charles Green, talks it all with some of his guys.
Change of possession. Personal foul. Face mask. Number 15 on the offense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
So the interception will stand, and you see it here. You see the receiver has to stop and come back to the ball. If Morgan could have hit him in stride, that would have been 7 for Jackson State.
Absolutely, and they said 15, but I think it's actually 16, the wide receiver, Jonas Fortillion, who makes the tackle. I mean, Kobe and Morgan were way far away from the play. But, yeah, he gets to grab the face mask in the corner.
So that's the interception plus 15 yards. So Jackson State talking about discipline. Well, now they're going to have to be a little more efficient in the passing game. We've seen one overthrown, one underthrown so far for Morgan.
Back comes Alabama State and quarterback Kareem Key. He's got DeQuan Kinsey in the backfield with him.
Key coming off of an interception. And
here's DeQuan Kinsey into the second level, into the defensive backfield, and he's all the way down to the midfield stripe on that one. Another tackle made by Robert McDaniel, but DeQuan Kinsey tearing this Jackson State defense apart.
All right, and you see the hole there, and he just exploits it, gets into that second level of the defense, and Kinsey's going to have 100 yards before halftime. He had 65 yards in the first quarter alone.
Absolutely, DeQuan Kinsey, the Clark Atlanta transfer. Of course, Clark Atlanta, had a change of coaching staff, and Teddy Keaton and company actually playing Miles today in the SIAC championship game. Not sure how he would have fit into that into that Clark Atlanta passing attack.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure Eddie Robinson Jr. and company happy to have him here in Montgomery.
David Wright is slinging it down there in Atlanta.
Just like he was doing it at his previous stop. Here's a handoff right there by going to A.J. Gates. Tackle made by Jeremiah Williams on the play. Second down coming up for Alabama State.
And again, the running game is putting them in excellent position not to face a third and long situation. Not as big of a run there as Kinsey's been having, but once again, the Alabama State offensive line doing their job and opening up those gaps.
Second down, we'll call it 4 for Alabama State, moving from left to right on your television screen.
And mobile device. That's how I like to watch Mo, on my phone.
I got you. And here's a handoff going to Gates. Once again, Gates gets down to the 40-yard line. He is tackled on the play by Ashton Taylor, one of those fine linebackers that Jackson State has.
And Alabama State has been making his moves on the left side of that line up the gut, but this time going to the right side, spreading the field out against Jackson State.
Hey, mobile devices are great, but you know what's even better? When you can stream it to your 70-inch TV.
Right. There's that.
Exactly.
Mirror. Do a little mirroring there.
So you see Josh Nobles, great defensive lineman for Jackson State. I really haven't heard his name too much.
No, he's the sack leader in the SWAC. He has 9 on the season, but the quarterback has not been sitting back there waiting. It's been quick handoffs and exploiting the strengths of the Alabama State offensive line and getting the better of Jackson State at the point of attack here this afternoon.
Robert McDaniel coming up with another tackle on the play. Ashton Ashford getting a tote on that play.
See Kareem Key there getting the signal from the sideline, and that first interception of the year earlier in the first quarter just stared his receiver down.
And that was his first interception, not just of the year, but in 70 attempts at that. And he's been playing it safe, especially in the passing game. Here's another handoff right here to DeQuan Kinsey, and Kinsey maybe gets 2 yards on the play to bring up third down. Coming through, he had to be tackled not one, but 2 Jackson State defenders, True Thompson and Jeremiah Williams.
And we talked about how Jackson State has to prepare for the motion of Alabama State, have players moving pre-snap, and we saw that with the receiver coming down and then the handoff going back in the opposite direction that time, picking up positive yardage for Alabama State.
All right, third down for the Alabama State Hornets. Ball resting on the Jackson State 35-yard line.
It's third and a manageable 6. Is a little shift there by Alabama State to the left side. Going to get a flag to halt this play.
Certainly will.
Not sure if they got set there before the
False start. Offense. Number 67 and number 14. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Yeah, when they went in motion up there. Yeah, they didn't get fully set before the snap. So that third and manageable now is 3rd and 11. So we might be looking for a passing situation here, Mo, or just pick up some yardage on the run and try to set up the field goal.
Alabama State 108 yards of offense, 108 rushing yards of those total yards.
Kenzie's been, look, offensive line's been working for him, and he's taking advantage of it. And I think that's what Eddie Robinson loves to see out there, a solid running game.
And here is another handoff or right up the gut. The handoff goes to number 18 on that play. That is Jabari Kakindo, the Coastal Carolina transfer.
And it ends up being a draw play, but you have Key appearing and giving the impression that they're going to roll that pocket to the right, and comes back with the draw handoff. And we're going to have some 4-down territory here, Bo.
Absolutely. 4th down, ball resting on the Jackson State 33-yard line. Would be a 51-yard field goal for Gilliam. And it looks like Alabama State's going to try to draw Jackson State offside for right now. It's going to be a check at me. 4 seconds to go on the play clock. And the play clock's going to run out, and we're going to have a delay of game.
Well, they tried to send it. And I don't blame the Alabama State offense. This Jackson State team has not been disciplined so far. We've seen the penalties. I will go ahead and give it a shot to see if you can get them to jump off sides and pick up their 1st down, but they do not take the bait.
Sir, they do not. And defense. So here's Jackson State starting. Ball resting on their own 20-yard line. Jacobian Morgan's going to hand it off to Herb Mulligan. Mulligan's going to pick up about 3 yards on the play. They're still trying to push him forward. Forward contact, forward progress finally stopped. Traquan Thomas going to be credited with the tackle on the play.
Yeah, we talked to the Alabama State coaches this week. Their message was we have to get back to our identity of who we are, and that is a team that can stop the run. Giving up over 200 yards rushing last week to Grambling. So far, they have been meeting Herb Mulligan in the backfield, which is an effective way to stop the guy that's averaged over 100 yards per game the last 4 games in a row.
2nd down and 6 for Jacobian Morgan. He's got a man going in motion, trips to the top side. Morgan is going to step up as he's running out of time. His pots collapse, and he's going to be taken down by that Black Swan defense on the play for Alabama State. That is number 44, Kanye Varner. Defensive end from Jonesboro, Georgia.
Well, we sound like a broken record, but they're just winning the one-on-one matchups in the hole. You see the defensive linemen constantly on the other side of the numbers of the Jackson State offensive linemen in this game.
Of course, Kanye Varner getting some playing time as Stephon Young-Rowe makes his way back from injury. He was injured in the Port City Classic a few weeks ago. Just next man up mentality. Here's Jacobian Morgan. He's going to throw it across the middle. Pass is caught by his wide receiver on the play. That's Isaiah Spencer. And Spencer's going to be stopped short of 1st down yardage. First on the tackle, Caleb Alford of Alabama State. 4th and short coming up, Tally.
And it was a good idea there. Had Spencer just run across the field, a little shallow cross there. Got him in space, the ability to turn the ball upfield, but just 1 yard short of that 1st down and too deep, buried in their own territory at the 29-yard line to try to go for that one.
And, of course, Isaiah Spencer is a guy that Coach T.C. Taylor, every time I've talked to him, says he wants to get the ball to him. Back deep for Alabama State or Robert McMinn, the Florida native.
All right, he had one return where he got it out of bounds and tried to catch that one over his shoulder. He couldn't, but that previous return got out of bounds and picked up that penalty, but this time no return.
7:34 to go. We'll be right back. New ASU Stadium in Montgomery, Alabama.
Hey, 2 games being played here today. Bo, we got the game on the field right now. And then we're going to have a different type of matchup at halftime. The Sonic Boom of the South is here. So at halftime, we're going to get the Sonic Boom, the mighty marching Hornets. Get ready.
Oh,
Get ready.
Man. Halftime is showtime. We know that for sure. And don't forget, you mentioned the mighty marching Hornets, but you also have to mention the honeybees.
Oh, you know that. No one ends halftime and takes the show like the honeybees.
So here's Kareem Key, ball resting on his own 6-yard line. Key is going to hand it off to the first man through on the play. That is Gates.
A little better job that time by the Jackson State defensive line, not getting blown off the ball at the snap.
Messias Guthrie coming through with the tackle on the play. 2nd down coming up. Tyler, there's along with the Celebration Bowl at the end of the HBCU football season, of course, they're also going to do the Band of the Year. And got to talking with some of my friends the other day, and I'm like, I know they do the band stuff, but imagine if they did like just a dance team battle, and you would have like the Honeybees against, anybody across the SWAC.
Come on, say Dancing Dolls. I know you want to say it. I know you want to say it.
Honeybees, the Dancing Dolls, the Foxes. And slipping the tackle right here is A.J. Gates. Gates to the outside, stiffing arm on the man, and he will be knocked out of bounds, but not before he is knocked out of bounds. And a first down on that play. Kaverick Wiggins coming up with the tackle.
Back to your previous point, Mo, there is levels to this, man. There's the football game, there's cheerleaders, there's the band, there's dance teams, flag girls. Shout out to the flag girls.
Absolutely. Hey, I talked about the Band of the Year contest at the end of the year. Right now, here are your current rankings. Jackson State currently ranked 3rd. Alabama State currently ranked 2nd. My alma mater, Southern University, right there at number 6.
Hey, North Carolina A&T is winning something this fall. They're winning in the Band of the Year. It's been a long year for the football team.
Absolutely. Right behind them is Florida A&M, the Marching 100, who you and I saw a few weeks ago right here in the stadium. And then I saw them when they played against Southern University. You saw them the next week against Texas Southern.
Yeah. So we've been following the Marching 100, but shout out to the blue and gold marching machine in Greensboro, holding it down right there with the number 1 slot.
First down and 10 for Kareem Key and the Alabama State Hornets. He's going to hand it off to Daquan Kinsey. Kinsey's going to move the pile, maybe a gain of 3 on the play. Second down coming up for Alabama State.
So out of the last 3 runs here, 2 of them have been up the middle, and we have seen that Jackson State has kind of shored things up there at the point of attack. But Alabama State was able to pick up a first down going to the outside perimeter on the right side of that line. So early, in this game, first quarter, Jackson State was getting beat left, right, up the middle. Looks like they're starting to fortify their effort up front in the trenches a little bit.
And, of course, Eddie Robinson Jr. will tell you all day, every day, and twice on Sunday that he wants to win a game 3-0 and play good defense. And right now, that's our scenario.
Well, that's what we got right now.
Here comes another run by Alabama State. It's Daquan Kinsey, and Kinsey met by a host of Jackson State defenders. Holding on to him right there at the end would be number 6, Isaias Guthrie. Josh Noble's also got his hands on him as well. A short gain on the play. Third down. We'll call it about 4 coming up.
When you have sack artists like Josh Nobles, we've talked about this in some of the conversations with the FAMU coaches. When you have, those defensive ends and linemen that love and specialize in skill from you, because you're not going to get those opportunities to get to the quarterback. You got to showcase some of your other tools in your toolbox when you face these running teams like Alabama State.
Here comes Alabama State on the rollout. It's Kareem Key, and he is going to throw the ball short. No man close to the passing play, so that'll force a punting situation coming on for Alabama State.
All right, if you're a Tiger fan, you're like, hey, that's the defense I recognize there. Did a good job on the punt. Had Alabama State inside their own 20-yard line, so good field position for that Tiger defense, and then holding them, only giving up 1 first down on this series.
Harrison Tuck coming on to punt for Alabama State. Back deep for the Jackson State Tigers is number 0, Travis Terrell. Young man from Atlanta, Georgia, right down the road. Hey, Terrell's going to have a little space and an opportunity to return it. He breaks 1 tackle. Travis Terrell now at the 40, at the 45, at the 50. He's into Alabama State territory, and Jackson State will have it first down to 10 in Alabama State territory.
Good job by Terrell making it happen on that return.
3-0 is our score. Well, right. Of course, Jackson State has a chance to clinch the East Division title today. All they have to do is get a victory over these Hornets here in Montgomery.
Well, Jackson State's defense seemed to wake up on that last series. Can their offense wake up here? They have not been able to establish anything outside of that first series with the run game. And we've seen an interception and an overthrown pass outside of a couple passes to the flat from Morgan. But they're going to have to get something going. Either I like getting the ball in space to some of your guys with speed.
Irv Mulligan on that last carry picks up about 3 on the play. Here's a play action pass, and making the catch right there across the middle is Janalen Dupree, and Dupree puts on the afterburners. He gets it all the way down to the Alabama State 14-yard line, knocked out of bounds by Amon Scarborough.
As we said, get the ball to your guys with speed. Give them a little space. Little play action, quick release on the cross. There he is. And he turns on the Jets, and he gets a nice block downfield. Now in scoring position for Jackson State.
There's Janalen Dupree, a young man from out of Philadelphia, Mississippi.
You know, one thing we've talked about in some of these SWAC contests this year, Mo, if you can't run the ball effectively with just a straight handoff, short, quick passes can be as effective as a run game.
31-yard gain right there by Dupree. Gets the ball down inside the red zone. Can Jackson State capitalize? Here's a handoff to Herb Mulligan, and Mulligan is going nowhere. Somehow he gets back to the original line of scrimmage, but he was met by a swarm of Hornets led by Keen Lewis.
And you saw from the left side there, Alabama State brought the safety blitz. The safety was the one who ended up at least getting half of that tackle against Mulligan.
So 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in the first half. Alabama State still on top 3-0. As Tolly mentioned a few minutes ago, don't forget, coming up at the half, it'll be showtime. The mighty marching Hornets against the sonic boom of the South. And we'll bring you all the sights and sounds from here inside the new ASU Stadium. There was a penalty on the play, so let's go down to our head official. Make sure.
For the game.
All right, so after the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct against Jackson State. Not one, but two of their players. And this undisciplined effort continues here in the first half. It's gone from the first quarter to the second quarter. Jackson State was inside the red zone. Bo, they've marched themselves back to around the 30-yard line then.
Marvin Landy and number 88 was called for unsportsmanlike conduct, along with Quavion Davis, the offensive lineman, number 79. So all of a sudden, Jackson State now has the ball second and forever around the 28-yard line as Herb Mulligan takes the handoff up the middle. Once again, he's tackled by a swarm of Hornets. Looks like he's taken down by Rico Dozier and Amon Scarborough.
Yeah, that's a pretty good run on first down, but when you're second and 25, it's going to put yourself in a position where you've got the world to go here. I don't know if Jackson State's going to be able to run to pick up that yardage unless they're thinking about playing for a field goal. It's just a 3-0 game right now.
Right now, Jackson State, 5 penalties for 55 yards. And if you would ask T.C. Taylor about that right now, he literally would say, this is not Jackson State football. 2-minute timeout. We'll be right back.
You, man. I know you were super excited about the recent Hot Boys reunion as a student athlete from Southern University. That is right in your geographical and musical wheelhouse.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Matter of fact, I grew up on Cash Money. I grew up on No Limit. People talk about LeBron versus Jordan, but I'm telling you, Cash Money versus No Limit talks in the lunchroom got heated many times down in Assumption Parish when I was growing up, for sure.
Hey, to be a young man when No Limit Records and Cash Money were topping the charts, that was a different time in life.
It definitely was a different time in life. And, I would say this, I'm thankful for getting a chance to, work in the radio industry while I was in college. So I got a chance to still come across a lot of those artists as well, like Juvenile and BG and Mystical and Master P. Even had Juvenile perform my junior year for homecoming at Southern University.
I tell you what, Mo, Back That Thing Up is in my playlist, my running playlist on my phone. And for some reason, the version I have does not start with taking over for the 99 and the 2000, and I don't like it. I gotta update the version. That must have been like some crazy radio edit. I'm like, you cannot start that song without saying taking over for the 99 and the 2000.
I know exactly where you're coming from on that one. One of my favorite Judy tracks though is "You Understand."
Well, I understand that Jackson State has 3rd and 21, and the running game has not been getting it done. I would say obvious passing down here, unless they're going to set something up for a field goal and still stick with the run, but looks like he's going to unleash it over the middle.
Touchdown, Jackson State, hauling in the pass right there. Number 7, Jamal Gardner Jr., the Kent State transfer, and Jackson State is on top, 6-3.
So you look at these defensive battles, Alabama State has pretty much dominated this game, but only putting up a field goal so far, and Jackson State with that quick strike there on 3rd and forever now sit on top of the scoreboard.
Jamil Gardner hauling in the sliding grab in the end zone, just got between the Alabama State defenders, and all of a sudden Jackson State has the lead. Here's the extra point. It is up, and it is true. And your new score, Jackson State 7, Alabama State 3. And that is something that Tiger fans have been looking for all day long.
It only took one play to get there. See it from the POV behind the quarterback. And he just comes across the field and slides between those two defenders. And they're looking at each other. He's looking at the end zone. And Jacoby and Morgan super excited after throwing that interception. He responds with the touchdown, and that puts Jackson State on top, 7-3.
That drive was 5 plays, 47 yards, and took 2 minutes and 13 seconds off the clock. Jackson State leads 7-3 thanks to a Jacobian Morgan to Jamil Gardner Jr. touchdown. Talk about a precision pass. Literally, Morgan threw it to a spot where only his man could make that play.
Yeah, and that was timing between those two. He knew he had to hit that spot, and he had to get the ball there. The timing was off earlier in the game on that interception, but it looks like in that second quarter, late, both the Jackson State defense and the offense has finally shown up as we know them to be.
So back deep now for Alabama State. It'll be number 23, A.J. Gates Jr., the UAB transfer. Kicking off for the Tigers via Gerard Abeza, who just knocked in that extra point.
So Jackson State fans feeling a little better. They're getting a little more shade over there. They're back on top of the scoreboard, ready for halftime. But Alabama State is going to get one more shot here, Mo, to try to retake the lead. They'll have 1:39 to go here.
A.J. Harrell actually hauling in the sky kick on that play.
See the Jackson State faithful. A lot of them made the, not too long of a drive.
No, about 3.5 hours.
Not too bad. I was about that same territory driving in from Atlanta today. So that's a nice little distance to come in, have a little day trip, make it back home, maybe spend the night. Sonic Boom, and they're getting ready for the big halftime showdown with the mighty marching Hornet band.
I tell you, it's something interesting as you look behind the east end zone. You see Jackson State and Alabama State both preparing, and there's maybe about a foot between both bands.
Got to stretch, got to get ready, and that's just how it goes down.
They're both respecting each other's territory. As Kareem Key steps back to pass, he's going to throw the quick screen to A.J. Gates, and Gates is going to go nowhere on that play, tackling him for a loss on the play. Day Bright of Jackson State.
What I'm starting to see out there, Mo, is a little more penetration. Jackson State on the edge, starting to win those battles, and that's speeding up the clock of Kareem Key when that pressure is coming from the outside.
And, of course, remember, this is a situation now where Jackson State is going to try to make Alabama State as uncomfortable as they can offensively with a little bit more pressure, especially with Jackson State holding a 4-point lead.
And not a team that you think of when you think of 2-minute offense. You think of a team that grinds it down the field, but coming up with big plays. But, again, right there is maybe a fumble. Do we have a fumble? The reaction of the crowd seemed like the ball was loose. Couldn't tell from this vantage point. But that Jackson State defense was on it and keeping Alabama State behind the chains.
A.J. Gates took the handoff. He was met and tackled by Robert McDaniel. I don't see a beanbag or anything that was thrown around.
Yeah, the way that Jackson State crowd erupted, they thought the ball was out of there, and it was a big scrum.
It did come out.
Yeah.
It did come out. And Alabama State's Cameron Smith comes up with the fumble recovery.
I would Get this ball hiked before somebody wants to review, and we get the whistle right before the snap.
Their first charge timeout of the half. It will be a 30-second timeout.
All right, so with 38 seconds to go, Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. and his staff have to make a decision on what to do on this third down. Jackson State has one timeout remaining.
Yeah, Alabama State's offense was not set up to move the ball that quickly down the field, unless they come away with a big run, which we saw some of those in the first quarter. Not a super vertical team here, but now they're in a situation where they don't want to leave Jackson State with much time on the clock, as we saw that Tiger offense has come to life, and they can, behind the arm of Morgan, through the air, quickly get a score.
Right now, the arm of Key is not going too well. He's 1 of 3 on the day for -4 passing yards. So let's see what Kareem Key does. He's got a handoff right there to his running back, first man through. And really nothing doing on that play right there by Jabari Kaikendo.
In the first quarter, Alabama State was making a living on the left side of that line. Jackson State now taking over and starting to win those battles. And they're going to give themselves at least a shot to get maybe a return here and maybe a play or two if they decide to do that, to try to get some points on the board and maybe extend this lead. 23 seconds left here.
Game clock operator. Please set the game clock to 31 seconds. 0-3-1.
So Jackson State is going to get 8 additional seconds as they take their timeout. The final timeout of the evening as Jenkins takes Kakendo down on the play.
Don't know how well you can hear that at home, but you can see it right there. This is not a Jackson State home game, but they are thick.
There's a lot of blue and white in the stands, I'll tell you that. Even some red, too.
They are looking to come away with the SWAC East title today. They can clinch it with the win against Alabama State. It was a quiet first quarter for the Jackson State faithful, but they are alive right now in Montgomery.
So here's the punt. Back deep for Jackson State is Travis Terrell. And Terrell, he's got some space. He'll go to the far sideline. He's behind some blockers, spins out of a tackle, and he is knocked down near the 40-yard line of Alabama State.
A perfect scenario for Jackson State. They get the ball across midfield. Pretty good field position on that return. Only 18 seconds, but Mo, that's enough time to get at least 2 shots into the end zone if that's what they want to do, or maybe a big pickup and a chance at a field goal.
Absolutely. Some hurry-up offense will be ran by Jackson State right there. T.C. Taylor delivering directions to his offense right now as you see it right there. Of course, he's trying to lead the team to a SWAC championship. If they get to the SWAC championship, it'll be their 3rd appearance in the last 4 seasons, be the first one under T.C. Taylor as a head coach.
I think we have to give him his credit. Look, he followed some legendary footsteps of Deion Sanders. Coach Prime goes to Colorado. Last year wasn't a bad year. They just didn't win the SWAC championship, but looking as if still some games to go, but a pretty good position here to make the SWAC championship game this year.
Here's Jacobian Morgan, and he is sacked, and the ball is stripped. There's a fumble on the play. It will remain with Jackson State. Coming up with a huge hit on the play, Traquan Thomas.
Traquan Thomas, number 2 in the SWAC in sacks this year. He has 7.5. Make that now 8.5. And you just see he goes outside, inside. Beats the left tackle there. They're going to say, you know what, let's just go into halftime.
Absolutely. So that will be the final play of the first half. Your score, Jackson State 7, Alabama State 3. Remember, if Jackson State wins this game, they win the East Division crown. Alabama State trying to stay in the running. All right, everyone, we'll take a quick break and we'll be back with your halftime performances. Pepsi, first up will be Jackson State, the Sonic Boom of the South, under the direction of Dr. Roderick Little. Let's take a listen. You're listening live to the Sonic Boom of our SWAC College Football, which is brought to you by Pepsi. It's now time for the Alabama State Mighty Marching Hornets under the direction of Dr. James Oliver. Enjoy their show. been listening to the Alabama State Fighting Marching Hornets under Dr. James Oliver, who just paid a huge tribute to the late Frankie Beverly. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more SWAC football here on ESPN.
Quarter and a half. So they're going to have to up their intensity to match and start again to win those battles in the trenches that they started losing late in the second quarter.
Here's the kick by Gilliam. It's actually a sky kick that will be hauled in by Jackson State, and the returner knocked out of bounds around the 35-yard line, and things starting to get a little chippy here and there, but the officials getting over there quickly to make sure that things don't escalate.
Mo, I don't care what sport it is, basketball, whether it's football, the beginning of the third period, immediately after halftime, whichever team can set the tempo, set the tone of the game, because everything is kind of neutralized and even back out. The fans are going to take a little time to get back into it. Which team can come out and throw the first big punch here to start the third quarter?
All right, here's a look at that QB comparison. Jacoby and Morgan with 66 passing yards. Kareem Key with -4 passing yards. Of course, Morgan has the 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Key has no touchdowns and 1 interception.
Yeah, his first interception of his career, has had a pretty good start at quarterback, but not so much in the passing game today for Key.
Jackson State will start things off with a run on the right side by Irv Mulligan. He is taken down quick, fast, and in a hurry by number 44. That's Kane Varner getting the start today in place of Stephon Young-Rowe.
But Irv Mulligan, that time getting the ball to the outside, picking up positive yardage. He did not have Alabama State defenders meeting him in the backfield as he did early on in this game.
Second down, we'll call it about 4 on the play. Here's Morgan going to call his own number, and he is stuffed near the original line of scrimmage. Coming in there first is Rico Dozier to get the tackle for Alabama State. Third down, and we'll call it about 3.
Well, it's third and manageable. It's not third and long, so it's not a dire straight situation for Jackson State here. Let's see if they can pick up about 4 yards here on this third down and move the chains.
Officially, there is no sun peeking onto the playing field now. So everything's all even from a sight standpoint.
Alabama State showing some pressure here.
Here's Jacoby Morgan once again calling his own number, but he's going to be stopped short of the first down marker. First on the play to make the stop, Traquan Thomas.
They fake the handoff on the sweep action there. Morgan calls his own number. 1 yard to go. A little decision here right at midfield, and Jackson State's going to decide to punt this one away.
Thought it might have been 4-down territory because of them being near midfield, but DC says he's not taking any chances.
Too early for that.
All right, so back deep for Alabama State. Once again, number 87, Robert McMinn.
He's had 1 return, another that he couldn't haul in. Let's see if he's going to call for the fair catch here.
And catches it right on the 10-yard line. I punt of 44 yards on the play, fair catch being made. Of course, they always tell punt returners, put your heels on the 10-yard line. If it goes over your head, let it go. He literally caught it at the 10.
So the Alabama State defense starts out with the 3 and out against Jackson State. That offense, Mo, was able to run the ball pretty effectively. However, about midway through that second quarter, that Jackson State defense stepped up, started winning some of those one-on-one battles in the trenches, and was able to slow down that rushing attack for Alabama State. Let's see if that Jackson State defense can pick up where they were at halftime, and if Alabama State can regain some of that form that they had for the majority of the first half.
All right, Kareem Key bringing out the offense for Alabama State. They'll start on their own 10-yard line in the backfield with him. Daquan Kinsey at 96 rushing yards in the first half. And they'll start off with a run by Kinsey. He busts it outside, but he will be taken down for a loss. And none other than Mr. Robert McDaniel making another huge play for Jackson State's defense.
And they brought a receiver in motion to be the lead blocker there for Kinsey, but he gets to the outside of his blocker, and he's met by a bunch of Jackson State defenders who bring him down.
Second down, we'll call it 9 for Alabama State. Right under 13 minutes to go here in Montgomery, Alabama, the capital city of the Yellowhammer State.
And really coming into this game, we were expecting to see more of a passing attack from Kareem Key, averaging 185 yards per game in his 3 starts. But -4 in the first half. I did not have that on my bingo card for today.
Me either, but let me give you a little coach speak. You got to take what the defense is going to give you as DeQuan Kinsey once again attacking that left side. Really nothing doing. Maybe a gain of a yard on the play for Alabama State. Third down coming up.
And if you cannot convince this Jackson State defense that you have the capability or even the willingness to pass the ball, their confidence is growing. And if you continue to just run the ball, right now that advantage is going to Jackson State because they have shown that they are now ready and capable of stopping the run.
All right, Alabama State with twins to the top, twins to the near side. Gates in the backfield with Kareem Key. Passing situation appears to be for the Hornets. Here's Key stepping up out the pocket, and he's going to be tripped up, and he's going to be sacked on the play. Credit that sack right there. Number 39, Phillip Webb.
So he had a receiver up top looking and thinking about a go route. You see his eyes looking there. You see he's covered. He goes to take off out of the pocket, but brought down with the shoestring tackle from behind.
Yep, if he doesn't clip those shoestrings, Key may have a chance to make a play instead. Alabama State goes 3 and out on their first drive. Tuck will come on to punt for Alabama State. Back deep for the Jackson State Tigers, it is Travis Terrell standing right around the midfield stripe.
Well, that's what we promised you. Promised you a lot of defense. We promised you you'd probably see more than one field goal, and you're definitely going to see some 3 and outs here as this ball takes a Alabama State bounce across midfield.
And the ball will be down on the Jackson State 44-yard line. We'll be right back with more SWAC football. It was founded in 1877 as Natchez Seminary, an enrollment of almost 6,000 students. President Marcus L. Thompson. Notable alumni includes Rod Page, Cassandra Wilson, Dennis Allcan Boyd, Archie Cooley, Walter Payton, Robert Brazil, a.k.a. Dr. Doom, and James Merrick.
Hey, let me add my man, Uncle Neely, to that list as well. Notable alumni.
Oh, yeah, Neely over there doing some good things with CU now, right? Here's back to the action for Jackson State and on the carry right there. This is Travis Terrell. Terrell's going to be taken down by Amon Scarborough, but we've got a flag on the play. This thing may be going back, Tolly.
Yeah, it was in the neighborhood of holding. We'll have to see. We'll get the call right here.
Oh, we can't forget about Lindsey Hunter as well.
Oh, yeah.
As notable alum.
Big-time NBA player and came back to coaching the SWAC for a little while.
Yes, sir.
There's no foul on play.
All right, so maybe in the neighborhood of holding, but no holding.
Whatsoever. All right, so we'll move on. First down and 10 on that following that first down run.
Hey, you talk about Jackson State alumni, not an alumnus, but a former Jackson State player, Travis Hunter, now playing in Colorado, had a touchdown and an interception today. Might win himself a Heisman Trophy this year.
I think he definitely gets an invitation to New York for sure. Still a number of weeks still left to play in FBS college football.
Well, just find me someone who's a better player at the game of college football.
Here's a handoff right there. It's Irv Mulligan once again, and he's met by those swarm of Hornets.
Jackson State doing a good job right there at the end to push that pile forward just a little bit right there to midfield.
Big Janelle Brown coming up with the tackle. Second down coming up. It looks like Mulligan's going to go out for a breather.
Yeah, they have not hesitated to continue to feed him the ball, even though it took a while to get things rolling. They know if you continue to go to Mulligan, you're eventually going to find some success.
So here's Jacobian Morgan. He's going to try to outrun that Alabama State defense and just gets out of bounds. A set up third and manageable. He's knocked out of bounds by Rico Dozier.
Janelle Brown was there, but just did not have the foot speed to keep up with Morgan. He was there on the penetration, but Morgan saw him and quickly pulled away and picked up a couple of yards.
All right, so here's Jacobian Morgan in the shotgun. He's got trips to the near side, single receiver to the top side. That receiver is the young man that caught the touchdown earlier, Jamil Gardner Jr.
It's about 3rd and 3 right here. Manageable situation for Jackson State.
And here's Morgan going to try to call his own number. Spins out of one tackle, but he will not get out the clutches of several Alabama State defenders on that play. We'll go ahead and credit number 96 with that tackle. That's Jakeem Fletcher, the young man from out of Tanner, Alabama.
See there, he gets the spin, but runs into the back of his lineman there. Kind of holds up his progress a little bit. Can't get that extra yard. We thought about 4-down territory on the previous possession. They decided against it. Maybe going for it here, or maybe trying to draw sides. They're going to go for it.
They will. 4th and short right here. And Herb Mulligan straight up the middle, and he'll pick up a first down. Move those chains for Jackson State.
So you see the confidence continuing to grow for not only the players out there, but the coaches deciding, hey, let's go ahead and go for it. Try to create a little separation here.
And look, there was not that large of a gap, but somehow Mulligan got through it and just got enough yards to move those chains.
Elijah Elmore was in the vicinity, tried to reach his arm out there, but that was a no-go as Mulligan picked up that yard.
Here's a play of action. Jacobian Morgan's going to go deep once again and overthrowing his man in coverage right there for Alabama State, number 5. That's Caleb Alford. And I think Alford actually mistimed where that ball was coming, because if he would have kept running, he would have had a pick.
Yeah, it looks like he was going for a little stop and go and then just never came back out of his break. And Morgan threw it, and it was almost a better pass for the Alabama State defensive back there than it was for his own man. But, yeah, the timing off on that one.
2nd down and 10. Jackson State still on top, 7-3. We're live inside of new ASU Stadium in Montgomery, Alabama. Here's Jacobian Morgan. Stepping back to pass, going to throw it right across the middle. The pass is caught right there by Janalian Dupree, and Dupree is going to slide by a bunch of defenders, and if he didn't step out of bounds, that's a touchdown for Jackson State.
He simply went to where the pressure came from. Comes across the middle, right where those linebackers were bringing the pressure. He gets the clean catch, gets it out to the sideline on the edge, and turns on the speed. See right there? And he's just gone. He just outruns 4 Alabama State defenders. Dupree on that sideline. He's well in bounds. That's good for a touchdown.
44 yards on the scoring play, and Jackson State looks to extend their lead, already on top by 10, looking to make it 11 right here with the extra point. It is up, and it is good. Jackson State now leads 14-3 over Alabama State. They went 66 yards on 7 plays and took 3:08 off of the clock.
So 2 very similar teams defensively, but the one thing that Jackson State has shown that Alabama State has not, the ability to quickly strike for long touchdowns.
More SWAC football coming up next. Stay tuned. Alabama State Hornets. So we're here in the 3rd quarter live in Montgomery, Alabama. Alongside Tyler Carr, I'm Mo Carter, and this is SWAC College Football presented to you by Pepsi. Great scoring play right there for Alabama State to for Jackson State to extend their lead over Alabama State on that drive.
Yeah, Alabama State has just not shown the ability to get anything going in the passing game. Jackson State has struggled with the run game, but it's been 2 quick strikes and getting the speedy receivers the ball. Alabama State on their previous drive, the linebackers rush, and that little crossing route right over the middle is just catch the ball where the linebackers were, get to the edge, and take off.
Passing yards right now, Jackson State 110, Alabama State -4. Here's Alabama State on the return. And being taken out of bounds right there is A.J. Gates Jr. All right, everyone. So we got to credit Dr. Jason Cable, the athletic director for Alabama State University, for basically allowing the fans to see Alabama State in the state of Alabama 9 times.
Yeah, 9 out of the 12 games there, and still some more to go. Hornet faithful have been able to keep the expenses low this year. Not a lot of travel expenses.
Correct. And today actually starts the first of a 3-game home stretch, which includes Jackson State this week, Prairie View next week, and, of course, the Turkey Day Classic against Tuskegee on Turkey Day.
Absolutely. It's going to be a busy week in the SWAC. Got FAMU and Alabama A&M on Black Friday.
And then we'll have the Bayou Classic on that Saturday between Southern and Grambling.
Just a little bit overthrown there, and Alabama State realizing, all right, we might not be able to just continue to run the ball. We're going to have to try to get a little vertical here as they find themselves trailing by 11 on the scoreboard about midway through the 3rd quarter here.
Yes, sir. Of course, as we mentioned in the pregame, Jackson State wins this game. They clinch the East Division title. It'll be the third appearance in the SWAC championship game in 4 seasons. Another team that can clinch today in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Southern University with a win over Arkansas Pine Bluff. They can also clinch the Western Division.
Boy, and that West took a turn. It did not look like Southern was going to be the team to beat early in the season, but they got things together. As Jackson State comes up with a big tackle there on the left side behind the line of scrimmage. And Coach Terrence Graves has really got things accomplished there in Baton Rouge.
Yes, sir. Robert McDaniel and Cameron Smith coming up with a huge tackle for a loss on Jabari Kaikendo, and all of a sudden it's 3rd and long for Alabama State. But no, you're absolutely right about Southern. They've had to literally come into their own. You know, they've not won one overtime game, not 2 overtime games, but 3 overtime games this year.
Oh, you've been at home with your antacids, Tums, Pepto, just everything, man. They've been working your anxiety levels.
Well, to a certain extent. I haven't got a chance to watch a lot of their games live due to, what you and I are doing right now, as Kareem Key tries to get away from some Jackson State defenders, and his pass falls incomplete. A.J. Gates drops the ball on the play, so 4th down coming up. But yes, as an alumnus of Southern University, I know some people who have been in those situations, including my wife, who has actually watched the majority of those games. But
well, I'll tell you who's having a little anxious moments right here. That's Kareem Key, especially when you buy yourself some time in the pocket and evade defenders, get it out to one of your receivers, hits them in the hands, and they can't bring it in, and 3 and out for Alabama State.
Absolutely. So back deep for Jackson State once again is going to be Travis Terrell. Punting for Alabama State, Harrison Tuck. Terrell standing on his own 40-yard line. Jackson State bringing a little pressure. Tuck gets the ball off. A high punt is going to bounce near midfield, and that's where Alabama State is going to have to down it because they took a Jackson State roll. All right, everyone. 6:23 to go. Jackson State on top by 11. We'll be right back. Passes from Jacoby and Morgan. So far, 5 of 9 on the day, 110 yards, and 2 TD passes.
Well, the 2 that he needed to connect with, he did. Appeared a little shaky, some of his passes early on, but it's been an effective day in the pocket when you can get 2 touchdowns and a 14-3 lead on the board.
Here's Morgan going back to work, and he is going to be tripped up, and he's actually going to fumble. Alabama State picks the ball up, and all of a sudden, the Hornets now have the rock, recovering the fumble right there. Number 6, DeMarcus Cunningham.
Well, Jackson State fans, I apologize for saying it was an effective day in the pocket. No sooner than we say that, than Morgan comes away with the fumble. You appreciate the effort fighting for extra yardage here, but you got to protect that ball. It's got to be 2 hands on the ball. You're in there with the Lions in the defensive line. And just holding on, spinning, holding the ball with 1 hand made it easy for Alabama State to strip that away.
The Black Swarm defense coming up with a huge turnover now. Can their offense capitalize? That's going to be the big question on this drive coming up for the Alabama State Hornets. Right now, they'll have the ball 1st down and 10 on the Jackson State 46-yard line.
Well, it's the best field position they've had in quite a while, and getting the ball across midfield for the first time here in the second half. Let's see if they can build some momentum from the energy that they got from that defensive turnover.
Here comes Alabama State, and they're going to run it straight down the throat of Jackson State. There's DeQuan Kinsey. He's at the 20, the 15, the 10, 5. Touchdown, Alabama State. They're back into the game thanks to DeQuan Kinsey.
Found the hole on the right side, and then McKenzie did the rest. That's what complimentary football looks like, Mo. The defense gives the offense a turnover in good field position. Offensive line does their job, wins that battle on that particular possession. And Alabama State with the long touchdown run, and they're back into this game now. Maybe we'll cut it to within 4 if the extra point is good.
46-yard scoring play, a 46-yard TD run by DeQuan Kinsey only took 9 seconds off the clock, and all of a sudden, Alabama State is back in this one. Extra point is up, and it is true. Jackson State's lead is cut down to 14-10.
You never know what you're going to get when it comes to Alabama State and Jackson State, except for this fact, you're going to get a good game.
Absolutely. Now, Daquan Kinsey, 143 yards on the day as we take a look at Kinsey just weaving through that defense, and he just shows the speed to run away from the Jackson State defenders.
It was just a gaping hole on the outside of that line. He hit it on the right, cut back to the left, brought him back to the middle of the field, and just outran the defenders all the way to the end zone.
On the day, Alabama State now 176 yards on the ground, and man, we got a brand new ball game.
Yeah, it's now a one-score game. If Alabama State can cut down on these big strikes that Jackson State has been able to hit in the second quarter and early in the third, get some good field position, man, they can retake the lead and get back into this game.
And Alabama State giving the mighty marching Hornets something to play to get the fans back into this game, too. Travis Terrell back deep for Jackson State.
Great tribute at halftime. Mighty Marching Hornets paying tribute to Frankie Beverly. Actually had his image. They put those poster boards together, man. That was pretty nice. On top of playing this music.
Frankie Beverly, a legend. Not just...
He's in the culture.
He's definitely in the culture, but he's also in the HBCU culture. I was amazed at the amount of people who are HBCU grads on, the social media posts saying like, oh, I remember when him and Mays came to our homecoming and our homecoming and our homecoming. So he definitely made his way.
Look at some of those yearbooks from the 70s and 80s. You will see homecoming concerts a little bit different back then.
Yes, sir. So let's go back now over to Jackson State. Can the Tigers respond following the turnover that led to an Alabama State scoring play? Let's see what T.C. Taylor has dialed up, or what he's going to dial up for his team coming out. Jacoby and Morgan now back in the shotgun. And Morgan's going to hand it off to Irv Mulligan, and Mulligan picks up about 3 yards on the play.
Well, here's what you like. Jackson State has shown that they can pass the ball, and they've shown that the running game has gained momentum in the second half. In the first half, Irv Mulligan was getting hit in the backfield. Now you're starting to see Irv Mulligan 3-yard gain, 4-yard gain. Those are the type of plays that can move the chains, and we've seen the big strike in the vertical passing game to be able to get Jackson State on the board with touchdowns.
We'll credit Elijah Moore with that last tackle of Irv Mulligan, 2nd down and 7 for Jackson State. Here's another handoff to Mulligan. He will spin out of one tackle, and then he will pick up about 3 more yards on the play, making it 3rd and short. Traquan Thomas coming up with the tackle.
Alabama State bringing a lot of pressure. We saw Sheen Jackson come up from his safety position into the box with the safety blitz. Didn't get to the quarterback, but he was in there trying to assist on that tackle to the running back.
3rd down, we'll call it 3.5 for the Jackson State Tigers, moving from right to left on your television screen or mobile device, or maybe even your iPad.
That's a mobile device, right? So
it depends on who you're talking to. Here's Morgan. He's going to call his own number right up the gut, runs over a man, and picks up a 1st down for Jackson State.
Well, he finally gets that play to work. We saw 2 consecutive 3rd downs where he came up a yard short, but immediately he knew he was going to take that ball and run, and you see what he does. Protects the ball with both hands that time.
Rudy Jean Lewis coming up with the tackle on the play. Now here's a wide receiver screen going over to Gardner Jr., and he'll pick up about 3 on the play. 2nd down coming up.
Yeah, just a quick pass. Try to get that screen working out on the perimeter. Again, something that can be as effective as the running game. Get the ball quickly out of the hands of the quarterback to some guys with speed and allow them to get some of those yards after the catch.
Deshaun Jackson pushing Gardner out of bounds on the play.
An injured Alabama State player on the field.
Yes, we do have one. And the Alabama State player down right now is Elijah Elmore, the Wetumpka, Alabama native. Wetumpka about 15 minutes from the city of Montgomery. See Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. going to check on one of his defensive linemen, and it's like he's able to get on his feet.
It looks like he just pulled the muscle. They had to stretch him out real quick, and he's up and able to move.
Now, here's Coach Robinson literally telling him, like, hey, man, take it slow, going to the sideline real quick.
Jackson State has a little momentum. There's no need for us to rush this.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
And I think that's going to be the story here, Mo, as we play the last 3:42 of the third quarter. Can Alabama State quell this momentum that Jackson State is building because they jumped on the board with that turnover and touchdown? Or will Jackson State come back and respond with another score like they did early in this third quarter right after halftime? So the pendulum is swinging and trying to figure out which side, Mo, that the Mo is going to be on.
Yes, sir. Jackson State fans, doing a little booing just now. As the handoff goes to Travis Terrell on the play, he'll pick up a few yards. Brings up third down.
All right, so we're going to have 3rd and short here for Jackson State. We've seen Jacoby Morgan as a viable option, calling his own number. Seen some of those shallow crosses. So we'll see what Morgan operates with out of the shotgun here.
It's Morgan in the shotgun. He's got double twins to the top side and near side, single back in the backfield with him. That back is Travis Terrell. 3rd down and short. Last time we had 3rd down and short, we saw Morgan call his own number and go right up the gut. Alabama State making the adjustment. Instead, Alabama State sends the blitz, and on the sack right there is going to be Cunningham. DeMarcus Cunningham taking down Jacobian Morgan on 3rd down. Jackson State will be forced to punt.
Well, Alabama State has dialed up pressure all game long. Coming from the linebacker position here, you see untouched from the outside. By the time Morgan looked up for his reads, he's got Cunningham in his face.
Loss of 8 on the sack. 4th down and 11 coming up. Punting situation for Jackson State. Back then for Alabama State, Robert McMinn. He's standing right at the 10-yard line. Alabama State brings a little pressure. There's going to be a penalty marker. It'll be a matter of if it's a roughing or running into the kicker.
Yeah, they were very aggressive. They felt that momentum. They wanted to go for that block. Let's see the call.
There's no foul for running into the kicker. All was good.
And that's something that Alabama State fans love to hear, but Jackson State fans don't want to hear from Charles Green.
Well, thought he had the call, and only to realize not going in his favor.
Yeah, Matt No thought for sure it was about to be 1st down for Jackson State. Instead, they said the ball was partially tipped, thus no running into the kicker.
All right, so Alabama State feels like they have a little momentum from their defense. Can it carry over to the offense? They don't have the ball at midfield like they did before. They're going to have to march 80 yards. Can they do that exclusively running the ball, or can they show us something here in the passing game?
176 yards on the ground so far for Eddie Robinson Jr. and this Alabama State offense. And Kareem Key was going to step back to pass, but we've got a false start penalty coming up for Alabama State.
And Jackson State shifted on that defensive line.
Offense, number 7, 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Gave some happy feet to Desmond Daniels there.
Alabama State now 3 penalties, 15 yards on the day. They'll back it up. 1st and 15. Hornets now in the shadow of their own end zone, rocking the gold helmet with the black jerseys, black pants, black socks, and black cleats.
And black wristbands. Don't forget the wristbands.
Yes, cannot forget about the black wristbands.
All right, I think we're going to have to see at some point Key get the ball in the air. He's got to keep this Jackson State defense honest.
Absolutely. On the play right there, that was Kinsey, and he goes nowhere, being tackled by big number 0, Jeremiah Williams, 6'2", 285 from Holmes County Community College. 2nd down and long for Alabama State.
Yeah, it's going to be 2nd down and 15. Alabama State, when they do run, Mo, it's either it's either 4 yards or 40, the way they've been running the ball here today.
No, you're absolutely right, Tolly. An interesting dynamic with their rushing attack as Key hands the ball up the middle, and really nothing doing on that play by Kai Kendo as Robert McDaniel takes him down once again to be 3rd and long.
You see there, the initial hold quickly closes. You got the speed there on the tackle.
Here's Jackson State making a wholesale change on their defense, bringing more of the athletic package. As defensive coordinator Torrenzo Quinn told us about. They only bring it out for special moments, and I'm guessing this is as special as it can get.
So 3rd and long. You would think this is a passing situation here, and it is.
Absolutely. Key is going to go deep, and it is nearly intercepted by Jackson State's Anthony Petty on that one. He got a hand on it. Key just overthrew his man in double coverage.
Yeah, he unleashed it here. You see, receiver running, that ball is just high. Even if it was on the money, that was going to be a long day for the receiver on that catch because he was going to be crunched right there between the safety and the corner.
That was one of the few times we actually did not call McDaniel's name on a defensive play. He's already got 13 tackles on the day for Jackson State.
All right, so Alabama State not able to build on their momentum from the previous touchdown, and the Jackson State defense holds. And it appears to be, Mo, if you can keep Alabama State buried behind their 20-yard line, that offense just can't get it going. But near midfield, a bit more dangerous Alabama State has shown to be here in this game.
Kick goes out of bounds. Jackson State will have it 1st down and 10 on the Alabama State 48-yard line. We've got 9 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Coming up in the 4th quarter, we'll give you score updates from across the Southwestern Athletic Conference. We already been talking about one big game that's already happening here. We're also talking about another one with a clinching scenario on a division. Stay tuned, everyone. Stay in suspense. Don't look at your phone. Tolly and I will tell you all about it.
We got a little surprise out of the East. We got some updates out of the West. Stick around. All right, just 9 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Here's Jacobian Morgan, the inside handoff to Herb Mulligan. Mulligan getting into the defensive backfield on that 2nd level, and he'll pick up about 8 yards on the play. Tyshawn Sims coming up with the tackle. That'll be the final play of the 3rd quarter. So we played 3. Jackson State on top, 14-10. 4th quarter coming up next here in the city of Montgomery. Stay with us. Three, and then getting some help down the road.
Well, we got a tight one here. Jackson State with a chance to maybe put a little pad and they can get something going on this offensive position.
All right, here's a handoff for Jackson State, and going off tackle to the right side. Amon Scarborough making the tackle right there on Travis Terrell.
So if Jackson State can get a field goal here, that'll make it still a 1-score game, but put them up 7. But a touchdown, that would be a tall task for Alabama State, who has not had an explosive offense until they get just like these super runs that they just break out, but definitely nothing in the passing game.
Here's Travis Terrell once again bouncing it to the left side, breaks the tackle, and looks like he's going to have enough for a 1st down.
And we're starting to see that this Jackson State run game is starting to wear down Alabama State a bit. They've continued to gain momentum here in the 2nd half. You see this stiff arm here. Really just the Alabama State defender just kind of made the leap of faith there, but was a yard short on that attempted diving tackle.
We'll credit James Burgess with the tackle. Jacobian Morgan bringing out the offense on his 1st down now.
This is the area where Morgan... Oh.
And there's a bad snap, and Morgan is able to get on top of it. But, man, running him down on that play was Alabama State's Amon Scarborough, who seems to always be near a football or a loose football in that case.
Alabama State was bringing some pressure from that left side. You see it right there. It's going to come in untouched, but that was null and void because of the snap.
So 2nd down and long now for Jacobian Morgan and his Jackson State offense. Great crowd on hand, a good mix of blue and white and a good mix of black and gold. Up 24-9. If the Jaguars win today, they clinch the West Division title, and Texas Southern currently leading Bethune-Cookman 17-7. Back at action here in Montgomery. Here's Jacobian Morgan throwing the wide receiver screen. Dangerous pass. It is caught, though, by his wide receiver before he is stuffed on the play. Jonas Fortillion coming up with the catch.
Yeah, that ball was right there at the line of scrimmage, so no real gain there. That's going to bring up 3rd and 20.
On the tackle, it was Rico Dozier and Janelle Brown coming up with the tackles for Alabama State. Of course, Alabama State with the gold helmets, black jerseys, black pants, black socks, black wristbands, and gold numbers. Jackson State, blue helmet, white trim, white jerseys, white pants, blue trim on the pants.
Well, Alabama State wants to get back in the black in passing yards. Right now, they are in the red, still at -4 where they were at halftime. Maybe coming up with a stop or just a field goal. We'll see what Jackson State's going to decide to do here. But they're going to get another shot at getting back into this game, Mo. But that Alabama State offense is going to have to find some diversity outside of just the run game.
Maurice Lapierre putting pressure on Jacobian Morgan, forcing him to throw that ball away, and it'll bring up 4th down for Jackson State. And remember that bad snap got Jackson State out of field goal range. So right now it looks like Jackson State will come on for a field goal attempt. Excuse me, a punting situation.
They're going to have to pooch this one here.
And here's the punt. It takes a
almost.
great roll for Alabama State into the end zone. Jackson State had 2 guys there. They could not down it inside the 5, so it'll be a touchback.
Tried to bat it out of there, but that ball took a funny bounce. It's an oblong shape, and it takes quirky bounces.
Man, let's take a look at Daquan Kinsey. He has been the bell cow for Alabama State today, especially in the rushing attack, just really tearing apart this Jackson State defense, including this long touchdown run to get Alabama State back into the game.
Well, I haven't checked out the box scores from other backs around the league, but he is having one heck of a performance, maybe tops in the SWAC this weekend. Still 12 minutes to go. He's already at 143 yards. Mo, every time he touches the ball, he's averaging 13 yards a carry.
That is amazing. Definitely a early candidate for SWAC Offensive Player of the Week. Still a lot of time left in this game. 12 minutes and 11 seconds to go for Alabama State. And on the play right there, Alabama State fumbles a mishandled exchange between Key and Kinsey, and Jackson State will come up with the recovery on the play. Recovering that ball is Isaiah Guthrie for Jackson State. There's a late flag that came in. Let's see what that is, but I think it came after the change of possession.
Yeah, the flag definitely came in late there. It's a bit of a scrum. There might have been some extra pushing and shoving there, but disastrous play for Alabama State.
It's a fumble. By the offense, recover. Play was over. Dead ball. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 3 on the defense for pulling the player off the pile. That is number 3, first unsportsmanlike conduct foul for the game. First down. Jackson.
All right, so that'll be Robert McDaniel getting an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the play. As you take a look at the play, Key goes to pull it from Kinsey, and he just doesn't handle it well as he tries to go with the play fake, and eventually fumble. Isaiah Guthrie comes up with the recovery.
Yeah, that play was just meant to get the defense misdirected. The Key just tries to pull it too late. Just a matter of physics there. That ball comes out. Exactly what Alabama State did not need to happen on that play, giving Jackson State a short field.
So Jackson State now with the ball in Alabama State territory, ball resting on the 32-yard line of the Hornets. Here's a nice little pop pass for Jackson State, and picking up positive yardage for the Jackson State Tigers is Eric Simmons, young man from out of Greenville, Mississippi, on the tackle to beat Deshaun Jackson for Alabama State. Second down coming up for the Tigers.
Just quickly getting the ball into your fast players' hands. That's what they do on that little pop pass there. That's going to bring up second and about 5 here.
Second down for the Jackson State Tigers. They're in Alabama State territory following that turnover, and being met in the backfield is Irv Mulligan, and he is going nowhere on that play. That's Keen Lewis coming up with a huge tackle for a loss. Let's take another look at that one.
Look at the roll to the left, hand it to Mulligan and come back to the right side, but penetration was there by Alabama State. Nowhere for Mulligan to go.
And then Cunningham capping off the pile right there as well. So third down for Jackson State.
Called this 3rd and 8. Maybe a little too long for these plays where Morgan calls his own number.
Scorpion Morgan's got twins to the top side, twins to the near side. Irv Mulligan in the backfield with him. Alabama State's going to send some pressure, and here they come, and they've got Mulligan. Cunningham's going to take him down for a sack.
And the Alabama State defense offering an assist to the offense who turned it over, and they're going to push Jackson State out of field goal position. And you see it here, just right up the middle, blowing past the center.
Cunningham, like you said, blew right past the center. It's almost like a watch out, here he comes, and it was already too late. So the Alabama State defense coming up big once again. Eddie Robinson Jr.'s got to like the performance of his crew on that one, as they'll force Jackson State into a punting situation. McMinn is back deep on the 10-yard line.
And it would be great for Alabama State. I don't think McMinn's going to get a chance to return it here. But again, they're going to be at the 6-yard line. We have not seen very much, if at all, of Alabama State putting together long, sustained drives. We've seen some big plays, but they have had more success when they can get good field position around midfield or better.
34-yard punt by Jackson State. We'll be right back.
A lot of points.
And when you think about this too, with Coach Bean, he coaches cross country, indoor track and field, and outdoor track and field. So theoretically, that's 6 championships a year he can grab if they all win. And it helps with the Commissioner Cup, as you mentioned. Here's DeQuan Kinsey taking the handoff, and nothing doing for the Alabama State running back on the tackle. Big number 39, Phillip Webb, gets him into his webs and takes him down with the tackle.
We're just here to tell you the story of the game, even if it sounds repetitive. Alabama State's inability to pass the ball makes it hard for them to put together long drives deep in their territory because their weapons are limited, talented but limited, and Jackson State is geared up, ready to stop the run.
Here comes Alabama State now. 2nd down and 8. A ball resting inside their own 10-yard line. Kareem Key trying to move this offense from right to left on your television or mobile device. Here's Key stepping back to pass. He's going to go deep. He's got a man, and in and out of the hands of his wide receiver. He cannot make the play. Kaverick Wiggins there in defense. But let's take another look at this one.
Twice. In his hands twice, Mo. All right, you see the drop back. He unleashes. It's there. Hits the defensive back shoulder pads, and then twice on the hands. Maybe an extra yard over there just to get over the shoulder pads of the defender.
All right, here comes 3rd and 9. So far, Alabama State is 1 of 9 on 3rd down conversion.
But you see what a completion would have done. It would have moved the ball up to the 40-yard line. It's just hard to run, and get out of the shadow of your own end zone.
So here comes Key. He's got some time. He steps up, and now he's going to have to take off. And Key is into the Jackson State defensive backfield, and he'll have enough to move those chains for an Alabama State 1st down.
See that time Key not able to get it done with his arm, but he's able to escape the pressure up the middle. A smart slide. He doesn't see anything there. Rolls out, cuts back into the middle. Slides between the 2 linebackers there and picks up the 1st down.
Alabama State getting the 3rd down conversion. Under 9 minutes to go here in Montgomery, Alabama. Jackson State on top 14-10. Tigers can clinch the East Division with a victory. Alabama State stays alive in the East race with a victory of their own. Here's A.J. Gates. He's going to bounce it outside, and McDaniel's going to run him down. Maybe a game of about 2 on the play. I think that's McDaniel's 14th tackle now for Jackson State.
Yeah, he's trying to get to the outside there, trying to bounce it out, but McDaniel able to track his man and keeps that to a very marginal gain there.
So Kareem Key trying to move this offense down the field. 8 minutes to go in regulation. Here's Key. The quick pass, and it's caught outside. First down for Alabama State.
And that will move them out of the -4 passing yards. And you see Key. The one thing he does, though, Mo, when he's going to his receiver, he kind of locks in on that receiver, but there was enough open area there. No defender able to jump that route, and picks up the first down.
First down and 10 for Alabama State. Kareem Key stepping back to pass. He's got all day. Instead, he's going to step up. He makes a little quick juke move and then falls down after a gain of about 1.5 yards on the play. True Thompson coming up with the tackle.
Did a little better job there reading through his progressions, but no one was open. And once he realized that, he tucks the ball in and he takes off a couple yards, but it's going to bring up second and long.
On that previous play, it was Jalen Jones coming. On that play. Yes, they're listing Jalen Jones, who I'm guessing is wearing a different jersey number today.
It happens, Mo.
Yes. With that previous catch that gave them the first down. Now here's Aquan Kinsey, nothing doing on that play. Tackle by Reed Pulliam. It'll bring up third down once again for Alabama State.
So Jackson State has long fixed the issues they were having on the right side of that Alabama State offensive line. No longer being able to eat on runs to that side. That's going to bring up a third and long. And the time starting to become a factor because of the amount of time it takes Jackson State to move the ball down the field, Alabama State to move the ball down the field. Clock ticking just over 6 minutes. Passing situation here.
Coming up after, well, hold on, let's get a penalty.
False start here.
See what Charles Green has to say. He's made some sporadic appearances today. All right, so the snap infraction on Alabama State. Alabama State now penalized 4 times for 20 yards. And, of course, we can't have a SWAC football game without the official.
Letting the band know, be quiet.
Yep. Just not SWAC football. Wait.
All right. The pistol here, 3rd and 14, going to the edge, setting up that screen. Not going to be able to get the block to pick anything up there.
J.J. Harrell catching the wide receiver screen. Kavedrick Wiggins coming up with the tackle as we take another look at this play here. Yeah, he just needed that additional block and just could not get it done and made.
Well, there was 4 defenders coming to that side, so you had to pick, like, which block am I going to make? And he went for the second, or actually 3rd defender that was trailing in, which allowed that 2nd defender to come up and make the tackle.
Hey, Tyler, I've got a score update for you.
Final
in Baton Rouge. Southern University,
Lay it
31.
Yes.
Arkansas Pine Bluff, 9. With the victory, Southern has now clinched the West Division title and will advance to the SWAC championship game.
All right, you're not on camera. You can smile, Mo.
All right, here's a deep punt here, and it is fielded by Jackson State's Janalian Dupree, and Dupree is taken down quick, fast, in a hurry on a 26-yard punt. We'll be right back with more SWAC as Jackson State actually runs good play a little bit earlier. Irv Mulligan coming up with the they're actually going to give him a loss of about half a yard on the play. Cunningham coming up with the tackle for a loss.
All right, so Alabama State, can their defense provide one more gift for the offense and either get a 3 and out, maybe a turnover here, but they're going to have to do something, or it would be beneficial for them to do something that can give this Alabama offense some good field position for maybe one more drive. But
Second and 11 for Jackson State. We'll get to those other games next week. And, Jess, a few more moments. And we've got a penalty flag. Alabama State's pointing at Jackson State, and it's going to be false start.
Number 79. 5-yard penalty.
Well, I can tell you one thing about those games, Mo. Alabama A&M better get ready for a red-hot Mississippi Valley State after knocking off FAMU today. The Delta Devils did.
I guarantee you Coach Connell Maynard will truly tell his guys, do not overlook Valley, in those exact words and that type of tone. Valley can beat us. You know, the last time they went to Mississippi Valley beat them on a Thursday night. Here's Irv Mulligan going around the left side, and he'll pick up about 2 yards on the play. It'll bring up third down, and it'll still be third and long for Jackson State. On the tackle for Alabama State, Deshaun Jackson.
All right, so what we're coming up with here could be the play of the game for Alabama State. They need to get Jackson State off the field. If Jackson State is able to convert this third down, they might be able to run this game down to 0 with a new set of downs and take the SWAC East title right here. Alabama State is still in it. They need a stop and a score.
Here comes Jacoby and Morgan. Twins to the top side, twins to the near side.
High snap.
High snap, and Morgan's going to call his own number. Picks up a few yards on the play. It'll bring up 4th and 10 and a punting situation coming up for Jackson State.
All right, so crisis averted by Alabama State. We saw them put some pressure on the punt the last time. They did get a fingertip on the ball, even though they did run into the punter. I don't know if they want to be as aggressive here and potentially risk getting a first down if they do hit the punter. Maybe a chance for a return. We'll have to see how this kick goes, but Alabama State is going to have to do things quickly. By the time they get the ball, we're going to be just over 2 minutes to go in this game.
Next week, Jackson State will hit the road for their annual battle with Alcorn State. Some folks call it the Soul Bowl.
Well, anybody with sense calls it the Soul Bowl.
Here's the kick for Jackson State, and it is going to take a Jackson State bounce and down at the 4-yard line. So Alabama State's going to have to drive the ball 96 yards to find the end zone. All right, so here's a look at what's at stake. The SWAC stand is brought to you by GM. These two teams are 1 and 2. If Jackson State wins today, that means that Jackson State will win the East Championship for the 3rd time in 4 seasons. Alabama State still in the running, but they need to win the day, and they need some help.
You talk about that Soul Bowl. Alabama State's going to have to show us their 2-minute offense here. Something that has not been characteristic of them this afternoon, but they do not have a choice, Mo. They cannot just run the ball and let the clock run. We're going to have to see some passes.
Now, if Alabama State is able to score a comfort behind victory in this one, Jackson State will still have an opportunity to win the East Crown next week with a victory against Alcorn State. But I guarantee you, T.C. Taylor's going to tell you, let's do it right now. Here's Kareem Key under pressure, and he'll be sacked, and that's a safety right there. Coming through on the sack for Jackson State is number 30, Ashton Taylor. Add 2 more points to the board for the Jackson State Tigers.
You can't take that sack in that position.
No, sir, you cannot.
If you feel that pressure, you gotta do something. When you see here, just
comes unblocked.
Yeah.
He comes unblocked on that play. The Alabama State running back decided to help chip with the defensive end, and that allowed Taylor to just run free and get the sack on Kareem Key. Now Jackson State on top 16-10 as we approach the 2-minute timeout. Now, if you're Alabama State, you're still in a good spot from the way your defense has been playing. Take a look at this. Alabama State still has all 3 timeouts. But, of course, time is really, really not their friend if they have to drive it a very long way offensively. So we'll see down the stretch.
Well, Jackson State now up by 6 with 2:02 to go, and Alabama State's going to have to kick the ball off to Jackson State. They had to pass. They were in that position, but you just cannot take that sack. It's easy to say that sitting here.
Going down the rest of the schedule for next week, Arkansas Pine Bluff will take on Texas Southern, and Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman will meet in Orlando for the annual Florida Classic.
This season has flown by, Mo.
Man, it really has. I remember being at Media Day in Birmingham. Feels like just yesterday. Here's the free kick by Alabama State. It is hauled in by Jackson State, and the Jackson State returner taken down near the 30-yard line. That's where Jacobian Morgan will bring out the offense. Dupree is the returner on the play. All right, we're going to take the 2-minute timeout. We'll be right back with the
today.
Now, the bigger question is, will he and his team do enough to earn the SWAC East Division crop?
They're a minute and 57 seconds away. If they can run the clock here, although Alabama State does have the timeouts, I think they could get those chains to move one time. They'll be in a pretty good position, but let's see what they do, Mo. That's why they play the game.
Yes, sir. So here's a handoff to Irv Mulligan, and Mulligan's going to pick up about 5 yards on the play. So the breeze second down and manageable coming up for Alabama State. Tackle made by Amon Scarborough.
All right, a couple of things there. It's really not to Alabama State's advantage to hold Mulligan up. I know they're trying to go for the hold him up and strip the ball away, but there's a flag on the play potentially against Alabama State. But the longer they hold him up, the more the clock moves.
There's a flag on the field. We did see officials trying to separate both teams. There you see T.C. Taylor trying to lead his team and alma mater back to the SWAC championship. Eddie Robinson Jr. on the other sideline.
Well, one of the best to do it as a wide receiver, T.C. Taylor. One of the best to do it as a linebacker, and Eddie Robinson.
Necessary rough. Number 3 on the defense. Penalty from the end of the run. Automatic. First down.
They're going to get Amon Scarborough for unnecessary roughness on the play. It'll be a 15-yard penalty. Jackson State picks up an automatic first down.
Yeah, you just want to get Mulligan to the ground. Get him to the ground. Get back to the line of scrimmage. Call a timeout if you need to. But now they've given Jackson State better field position, a fresh set of downs, and they've lost 8 seconds and counting. Jackson State is in no rush to snap this ball.
.138 to go. Here's Morgan handing it off to Mulligan, and Mulligan right up the gut and picks up about 4 yards on the play. Second down coming up. Alabama State looks to call the timeout.
Yeah, get out of that scrum. There's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to talk about if you're Alabama State. The only thing that matters is the scoreboard.
So Alabama State takes their first charge timeout of Keen Lewis on that last tackle. All right, so after this game, what's remaining for Jackson State? Well, next week they will travel to the reservation to take on Alcorn State for a game you'll see right here on ESPN+. And thanks to a victory by Southern University, if Jackson State wins today, they will face the Jaguars on December the 7th in the SWAC championship game, a game you will see on ESPN2. We know Southern's going to be there. It's just a matter of, can Jackson State finish it out tonight and be there on December the 7th?
We could have a Boom Box Classic SWAC championship.
Really could. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen it either. The first SWAC championship was Southern and Jackson State back in 1999 right up the road in Birmingham. You know who played in that game?
Mo Carter.
No, I was still in high school at that point. T.C. Taylor.
Heck, I thought T.C. was older, and I thought you were older too.
Here's Mulligan once again taking the handoff. And might have a little jaw-jacking going on. I was looking to see if a flag might have came out because, like, one of the officials kind of reaching for it.
Well, that was Irv Mulligan's helmet who came off, which means he'll have to miss the next play. That's the second time his helmet has come off in this game.
Correct. Alabama State's going to take a timeout following that play to bring up third down.
This is a 3rd and very short, just a 3rd and 2 coming up here. So if Jackson State can get this first down, Mo, they can seal the victory here.
All right, let's take a look at the Alabama State remaining schedule. Next week, they're back at home against Prairie View A&M, a game you'll see right here on ESPN Plus with yours truly and Tolly Carr on the call. Then, on Thursday, it's the annual Turkey Day game. Turkey Day Classic against Tuskegee, school from right down the road, right here inside the new ASU Stadium. That game will be seen live on Thanksgiving afternoon on ESPNU. I think our friends Jay and Tiffany will have to spend their Thanksgiving down here in the Gulf.
They'll have a good time.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Jackson State got off the ball pretty early there. There's no flag, but it looks like we're going to get that first down.
Absolutely. And got a little extracurricular afterward. I did see something, but I do not see a flag. However, on the play, Jackson State looks to pick up a first down, and that may be your clincher, Tolly.
And the Jackson State faithful are going to maybe question.
All right, so Traquan Thomas is the injured Alabama State player right now. The result of the play was a first down, so Jackson State will have it 1st and 10. And really, they can run out the clock after Alabama State takes their next time out.
Yeah, on that previous play, they really got off the ball really quickly on the right side of that line there, and they needed 2 yards, and they got about 3 of them, and that really puts Alabama State in a precarious situation. Just a minute 14 to go here. Jackson State with the ball, first down, and they're just looking to make Alabama State use up their timeouts. So, Mo, it looks, if we had a victory meter, probability meter here, it's about 99.5%.
It's definitely up there at that point.
Favorite Jackson State. You'd love to clinch these things at home, but they're going to clinch it here.
Well, here's the thing. They would have to do it on the road either way because today's a road game, and then next week against Alcorn will also be a road game. And here's one of the best formations in all of football, the victory formation, as Jacobian Morgan lines up under center and takes a knee. Alabama State's going to take their last time out.
And there's really nothing you can do here. They're going to immediately take that knee and just let that clock run.
Correction. So Alabama State took their final timeout previous to this play. So, yeah, as you mentioned, there's nothing else that can be done, and the clock is literally going to run out. Jackson State is going to have to run one more play. Here's the snap. Jacobian Morgan takes a knee, and that'll be it. Jackson State has won the East Division crown, and there's the Gatorade bath on Coach T.C. Taylor. The Tigers will head to the SWAC championship for the 3rd time in 4 seasons. They will beat Alabama State this evening by a score of 16-10.